Welcome back. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to know the absolute latest on any commercial real estate related topics, check out our on-demand show podcast. Some available topics include social media for business, loan workout strategies, zoning for dollars, oops, should have covered that in the lease, and lease first purchase analysis at this point in the cycle. Basically, if I think if it's interesting, we've covered it. You can access the shows anytime on your smartphone, tablet, or computer. Just visit iTunes or the show website, commercialrealestateshow.com. Well, today our show is called Associations That Matter Too. Please welcome my next guest, Wayne D'Amico, President, CCIM, Certified Commercial Investment Member. The designation is Commercial Real Estate's global standard for professional achievement. Wayne is also the principal of Wayne D'Amico and Company, also known as PropertyPolitics.com, a real estate development and advisory firm specializing in complex real estate development brokerage and consulting services. They have offices located in New York City and Connecticut. Wayne, welcome to the Commercial Real Estate Show.
Michael, thanks for having me. This is great.
Well, we appreciate your time today and joining us and talking to us about CCIM. I'm a CCIM, and I think I've been a CCIM for a while. I think you told me my number is 7964, right?
It is, but there is a rule that if you don't know your number, you have to give money to our Ed Foundation. So I think you owe us $20 at least.
That's right. Well, I've been in the business for 30 years, so am I the senior here?
Well, 6198 is my number, and I think I got you beat, although I think you're older.
Okay, so I'm older, but you're more senior. I love it.
Go.
All right. Well, tell us about CCIM. How many members do you have, and what is the makeup and professions of your members of CCIM? I think some people may think it's just agents, right?
Well, actually, yes. The organization started in the 60s, and it evolved as kind of education-based, the ideas of internal rates of return, discounted cash flows, things that were evolving at that time. Our folks that were originally off the West Coast started going out in the road and teaching people from a practitioner standpoint. So CCIMs did have a kind of practitioner, broker on the street orientation back that 50 years ago, but it's evolved to be an organization that has we'll probably be pushing about 9,500 designees this year. We ended the year with that last year. We'll probably crest that number. There's a little attrition every year on people that just simply get out of the business, then would take in a few hundred more. And then we have candidates as well that are members. Those are the people that are in the program working towards the designation. And that total number's going to be about 14,000 by the time we finish out this year. So we have a constituency of say 14,000, but only about 60% of those folks are traditional broker type folks, meaning they're on the ground. A lot of them are secondary market and doing business transactions, broker transactions of deals, whatever the number may be, maybe $500,000 to $5 million or something. But the other 40% of our group is very diversified. We have appraisers, property managers, we have asset managers, we have people in corporations, corporate real estate folks. One of our biggest supporting groups that has been putting people through the program for years, the last couple of years corporately, has been General Electric and Walmart. And so they have people that are asset managers, portfolio managers, that they see huge value in having their people go through and achieve our designation as a critical way for them to apply our skills to what they do every day.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I know when I went to my first class, 101, I'm sitting there with corporate real estate people from these big companies, appraisers, analysts from funds, and it's a great way to network with those guys. And it's a very respected designation. I like the moniker there. Commercial real estate's global standard for professional achievement. What do you have to do to become a designee?
So CCIM program is based around a core curriculum of courses. There's 4 courses currently. The courses are investment analysis, market analysis is the second course. The third is user decision analysis. That's actually the one that a lot of our corporate folks enjoy, because you're making decisions when you're the user of real estate, not necessarily the investor looking for a return. It helps you understand things like lease versus own decisions. And then the fourth is our capstone course, where you wrap all these different disciplines together to understand wealth maximization and alternative investment strategies, etc. So the core principles are covered. You have to accomplish those, and then we have some electives that you have to check off. It can be other coursework. It can be being candidate for a window of time. But then the secret sauce really, though, is that you may learn all that stuff in the class, but then you had to prove that you used it, and that's our experiential requirement, which is a resume of transactions, and we have a few ways you can enter. You can actually currently we're actually at a very interesting point. We're raising our requirements to try to catch up with inflation in essence, and keeping the bar elevated to where we think is appropriate. So we're going from what is one way in of 10 transactions that total over $5 million. We have another scenario where if you have 20 qualifying transactions of any volume, you could get in with that as resume. And then we have a criteria where if you did $30 million in 3 deals, then that's also a resume you can put together to qualify. But next year we're going to be moving the 5 up to 10 million, so the threshold's actually going up.
I like that. And those 4 core classes, what is the approximate cost and time frame for each of those classes?
Well, the base pricing for the classes, I think rack rate is probably pushing about $1,400 a class, but we have online or in-class experiences. And then, of course, if you are lucky enough to be in proximity to a market that delivers the classes, then you can just kind of go and travel yourself. Maybe don't stay in a hotel, but probably back when you were doing it in the 90s and when I did it, they weren't offered everywhere. So you had a budget in there, some travel, and so you have some hotel times, and you're going to be flying somewhere maybe or taking a train, and so you could end up where it's costing you maybe $6,000 for the basic coursework, but if you travel, it could be a $10,000-$15,000 commitment.
Right, but what a great commitment. I mean, I get a lot of business being a CCIM that's referred to me in the Southeast and around Atlanta, and I refer a lot of business out, so it's a great referral network. And then you also have your final exam that you have to take after you have that sales experience you talked about. Then you have the 4 classes, and then you have to have a final exam as well, right?
Well, that's right. That was the third requirement.
Okay.
Courses, the resume, and then we give you your ticket for the exam. We give those out 2 times a year. We do it at our business meetings / conferences, which occur in the spring and the fall in different places around the country, and on an annual basis. And that's an exam that you have to sit for 6 hours and muddle through, confirming again that you understand the principles. A lot of case study related examples and questions, so that you understand from a discussion how to extract several answers from a real estate problem. And it's quite a challenge to do, but I have to say that we do have a pretty good pass rate, and we also allow people to even have a retake, and so we are pretty confident that by the time you're at that point, you do know your stuff, and so most people usually can get through. Yeah.
Well, I remember taking it in San Diego, and some people have quick questions they start with, and then sometimes there was a big question that you had to do a lot of math and a lot of equations, and I had that first. I remember that first one took me 45 minutes. I look around, there's some guys that are rushing through. I thought, wait a minute, this is taking me 45 minutes.
You have a different class. Well, that was back when they used abacuses too, right? Wasn't it?
That's right, using my fingers and rocks and everything. All right, we take a short break here. Stay tuned for more Associations That Matter. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you in part by your friends at Bull Realty. When your business requires proven performance, visit bullrealty.com or call 800-408-BULL. Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. You may be listening to the show anywhere from Miami to Seattle today. The show's been broadcast around the world for close to 3 years on iTunes and multiple websites, and it's aired on 12 stations across the U.S. We'd like to welcome our listeners on Liberty Express Radio as well. Well, today our show is called Associations That Matter Too. We're talking with Wayne D'Amico, president with CCIM. And Wayne, what are some of the other benefits of membership? We talked about education. What are some other benefits?
Well, that's actually the million question. We have a series of things that we do for our members that they can benefit from while they're in the program and also when they get out. Some of them, for example, are we have as an association we have affinity programs, so you can get involved. We'll cut arrangements with vendors of relevant services in our industry. We'll create kind of bulk buying opportunities and discounts. So we have affinity programs, things like insurance and Hertz rental, those kind of things. But the primary benefits that I hear about all the time, we've started about 10 years ago with technology products. We were innovative in primarily the demographic and geospatial real estate technology field, and so we were some of the first groups to take census data, for example, when it was evolving to the internet. But then we applied what you do with that in the field to the programming, and we call that Site to Do Business. Our Site to Do Business has evolved over the years to do what is deemed one of our best member benefits. We also have other technology products that we've layered in over the last few years, where we're starting to figure out how to layer property data into a geospatial mapping environment and do analysis for site-specific real estate-related problems. So that's a huge benefit. But the whole concept of the relationships and the networking, which is kind of intrinsic, is probably one of the things that surprises most people as to just what you can do with just the rights, privilege, and honor of being a CCIM and sharing that and having a whole series of people around the country that have achieved that. That is a very powerful benefit that when you actually reach out and try to do something with it, you'd be amazed at what business opportunities come from it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've noticed that some of these corporate real estate people, once they take a CCIM class or two, they're like, okay, if I'm going to hire a broker or a third-party vendor in commercial real estate, I'd like to know that they are CCIMs, because that means they're educated and they're dedicated to that. And the Site to Do Business, just awesome. I mean, the things you can do for clients in the Site to Do Business is just incredible. If you're listening to this show or you're watching this video and you haven't seen it, check it out. Learn what you can do with the Site to Do Business. Become a CCIM and access it. It's incredible. Well, Wayne, what are some of the current initiatives at CCIM?
Well, we've gone through, as everyone has. We've had we did some analysis back 30 years, and we realized that our membership and our budgets and all wax and wane directly correlated to the real estate industry. So we've been a challenge, like others have, to figure out how we can do more with less and the like. And so over the last couple of years, we've kind of had to prioritize. And what we've worked on of late is we've redone our curriculum recently to bring it up to date and make sure that we have a great value proposition in the ever-changing competition of say, university master's programs and things in real estate that didn't exist 20 years ago. So we've been working on that and continue to wrap that up and move that forward. The technology initiative of Site to Do Business, we're actually in a major release of a new version of those products, and that's exciting. We expect that we will be wrapping up those negotiations and announcing for the fall that come the first of the year or so, those are going to have a new face and much more power and usability for the market. So that's been huge. And we also have kind of a global initiative where we've been trying to figure out over the last few years, how do we become truly global, truly relevant. We've been delivering our education in markets all over the globe for probably 8-9 years now. We have members in over 40 countries. We deliver still every year in 8 or 9 countries: Poland, Russia, several Asian countries that we've been delivering, Canada, Mexico, and really getting our arms around that has been exciting and a challenge. But the thing that's the latest initiative on my part is, how do we raise the recognition of our programming at those highest levels? You've witnessed that we have these kind of corporate folks or people practicing in the institutional levels. They come to our classes and all, but I think we could do better to raise the recognition so that every CCIM around the country, around the globe, is recognized at the highest levels of our industry. And so we're doing things with organizations like National Real Estate Investor and Globe Street that are dealing with that industry, those industry levels all the time, and trying to make sure that we're getting designation awareness at those levels. And I think that's going to pay all the way down into the primary, secondary, and tertiary markets.
Good point.
So that's been a big one for me.
Well, Wayne D'Amico, thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more information, visit CCIM.com. More on Associations That Matter. I'm Michael Bull. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by your friends at Bull Realty, France Media, Atlanta Office Liquidators, and Wiseman, Nowak, Curry, and Wilco. For more information about these companies or to access additional show podcasts, videos, or blogs, visit commercialrealestateshow.com.